the biggest thing that prevents you from closing a client, getting that contract signed, and getting paid is that initial discovery presentation. This presentation establishes your brand, your methods, and then most importantly, you. This is a make or break. It's essentially the reason people decide to work with you. Being able to deliver your services is really important, but what matters even more is getting them in that position in the first place, which happens through the sales call. If you stick around to the end, I'll give you every single tool that is mentioned in this video. Hopefully you'll never have to struggle trying to close a client through your presentation ever again. The better this call goes, the more mistakes they'll allow you to make when you're servicing them, the more they'll trust you, and also the more they'll embrace the overall process. So I'm Tyler Arnott. I have run a med spa agency in the past, which I actually found some good success with. I've documented my entire journey from my first cold call all the way to closing my first few clients and beyond. But my agency eventually hit a cap in my eyes, and when I split up with my partner, everything started to go awry. As a result, I recently just ejected myself from the med spa niche, as I found that it's not really my forte to advertise for moms that don't like their wrinkles. Now I'm building a distinguished agency known as TA Digital, where I connect photographers, videographers, and cinematographers with their clients in the form of wedding photography, real estate, photo shoots and video shoots, and even movies and like advertisements, more high ticket stuff. I'm also leveraging Go High Level to supply these people with a CRM tailored to them, because none of these guys actually use anything, and that's a massive gap that I'm here to fill. I know it's an odd niche, but I love everything about that world and that ethos. I made this switch for many reasons, but it was predominantly because I love movies and cinematography. As some of you will know, I've been MIA recently, and that's just because I actually just shot a feature-length film with a friend of mine where we casted real actors and carried out a legitimate filmmaking process. It was the most fun I've had in a while. It was one of the craziest things I've ever done, and the film will actually be brought to festivals around the world this upcoming summer. But enough of me, I'll delve into this presentation that actually had a previous close rate of around 80%. So if there is one thing that I really am good at, or got good at through the process of trial and error, it is presentations and sales pitches. That's probably my strength. And all these videos are up on my channel, so if you want to see all of my presentations, or most of them that I filmed, you could literally see how I went from someone that sucked to someone who started to get better at it by learning. So first off, I just want to make this one thing clear. When you're doing cold outreach, you look to close the sales call. It's difficult to build a relationship with a client on a cold call because everybody hates cold calls. But when you book that meeting on the cold call, you then have the opportunity to build a professional relationship on the sales call. This means in the cold calls, you have to ward off all of the cross-examination and the irritation that every business owner has dealing with a bunch of random blokes calling them every day, spamming their line. On the sales call, their guard is down and they become far more willing to talk, converse, and of course kind of grow a liking for each other if you do it right, because the goal of the sales call is to make the prospect like you, obviously second to closing them, but in order to close them, they need to like you, they need to like what you do, how you put it, etc. So we're gonna jump right into that right now. I'm gonna show you exactly how I built my presentation and how you can do the same for yourself. I want to add that every SMMA, SaaS agency, any agency you could possibly think of, all of them will benefit from this presentation. This is by far the most difficult part of the process for each of those, because I think people overlook the idea of closing somebody. Really what you need to get good at to be a good social media marketer or whatever is just sales, right? Okay, so I just jumped into full screen. As you can see, there is a few things here that probably are interesting to you, which is that it's meant to be like, I guess, tailorable, or you could go in there and you could tailor it out for whatever your offer and your niche is, just because I'm going to be giving away this presentation at the end. And so if you guys want to actually take this and like do your own thing with it, then you could feel free to do so. And I'll get to that later, but watch this whole thing. Trust me, you won't regret it. Hopefully it's just going to help you out abundantly with your presentations and closing clients in general. So this is just the logo page. Isn't important, but I like to just have my logo in here, and then I like to insert my agency name, and then obviously my name, and then what it is, discovery presentation. The main thing is we come into the first page of the presentation, and it should be like an overview that lays out what you're going to get into. It's really important that you lay it out so that people don't just think that this is like an endless presentation or slideshow. They know what sections they're in as they're watching it. We have who we are, we have the mission, how it works, and the offer. If you're wondering how I actually create this, because this is in a Google slide, and you're probably wondering, well, okay, how are you doing this on Google Slides? This looks pretty cool. I just use a free thing called Flat Icon, and I'll show that to you right now. So Flat Icon is this thing that's free. I mean, you just sign up with your email, and then you could copy and paste unlimited icons, and basically so I could just search up offer, right? And this thing pops up, and you could literally just come in here, click copy PNG, paste, and then boom, it shows up like this. It's in black. What I end up doing is I just click on format options up here, and then I go down to recolor, and then I could recolor it to white, which will be just this invisible thing down here. And then it shows it like that. Then I just crop it and then make it fit in this section. And then and then how I build that actual kind of block is I go into shapes right here, click on shapes, rectangle, Just plop that down, and then you get this like white box. And what you could do is you could just color it. I color it like a transparent black, so it just shows like a shade, but you can still see what's behind it. And then I just make the border transparent as well, and then you can just resize that. And I like to put all my text in there so it gives kind of layer and depth to the presentation. You want to make it really clean is the key, because I used to have a more sloppy one. It still had good substance, but the quality and the way the aesthetics of it is really important, especially for me. I'm doing stuff with photography. I also have this little line in the bottom with the logo in the bottom right corner. To me, this looks really professional. It's clean, and I like to kind of use a base color as the background and then just stick to that theme and then have a little accent. So I have yellow, white, and blue. That's kind of the theme of this presentation. The next thing is, who are we? So this is just explaining what we do. Now, again, this is all tailorable. Putting in this location is important because you should be advertising to people that are in your local area first. I really do advise that. The likelihood of them working with you is just shoots up through the moon after you tell them that you live right next to them and you kind of built out a conversation. So put on your location, make sure to do that. Also say that we work with a specific niche within the business. Instead of just saying, okay, we work with med spas, it might be a bit generalized. So what you want to do is you want to focus in a bit more. So say like, okay, I work with Botox and dermal fillers specifically within med spas. That works better. That's what we did, and people loved that when we did it in all of our presentations. Again, you can see those videos. The reason they like that is because it shows that you kind of did your research and you know what you're talking about. When you're doing outreach, you should look for businesses, and this is what I did when I was advertising that exact service. Is I looked at their website and I checked out what services they offered, and then I went in and then I made sure to focus in on what I thought I would be most helpful with and what was higher ticket or whatever. It's still good to be as precise as possible in the presentation. They like the specificity. So yeah, and then I say we specialize in one service in particular, and that's channeling local demand into your business by running Facebook ad campaigns and converting leads into appointments set in your calendar. Now, of course, you could change this to whatever it is you do if you run ads on a different platform, or if you do more than just Facebook ads. But again, specificity. We operate on a pay per show basis, meaning we don't get paid until the lead shows up and becomes a client. And that's an important thing because this is only the second slide in, and the first two slides are really crucial because it should kind of dictate the pace for the rest of the presentation. And that's what this does. Throw in a picture of yourself, or if you have a picture with like your team member or both of your pictures, throw it in there, show who you are. Even if you have your face cam on, still show that you have yourself in here. This is especially important for those of you who don't present with the face cam on, which I really do recommend, but it's important to have that anyway so it's more professional. This next slide is specifically for people that are new, and this is what I did when I was new. This was an idea that my friend and I had when we were first starting out, and it worked really well. All of our leads appreciated this in being transparent because we told everyone in our first few sales calls that we were completely new to this, and that unlike most agencies, we are open in saying that we are in our infancy, because it'd be bad and it'd be quite clear to see if someone just started out and was acting as if they're a veteran or whatever in this game. So it's good to just be honest. Transparency is key. I got this from a book recently, but you got to treat your leads like they're your wife, because they could tell if you're not being honest. Next thing is the mission. So we want to help your niche acquire more high quality leads that will produce massive revenue growth over time. Every great sales pitch includes a mission statement. It's kind of the one thing that they kind of retain and remember throughout the entire thing. And then we have some more icons here that I got from that flat icon. All right, the next page is the guarantee. So bring you X new clients minimum every month, or we don't get paid. Now this is the guarantee offer. If you don't have a guarantee, which I mean at this point you kind of have to, and if you have something beyond a guarantee, then obviously you can change this to fit your needs. But essentially, this is where they get sold a lot of the time. And if you look at the videos of us presenting, whenever we say this, it's kind of like an internal nod. And this is kind of the affirmation that there's no reason whatsoever to not move forward with this person, because I mean, it's a guarantee. They have to win and they can't really lose money. We're not mentioning ad spend here, even though that is a way to lose money as a client, but here it's like, okay, it's a no-brainer. So the Your Agency framework. And so this is the framework that you're gonna then walk them through for the remainder of the presentation. And so it's about making this as digestible as possible to someone who might not know what you're talking about. And so we split it up into 4 categories, which is 1, optimizing ads. So this is just focusing on the service, the ad offer, and the target audience of those ads. So in the case of med spas, moms with wrinkles. And then follow-ups is just focusing on making them automated, personalized, and persuasive, which obviously we did through Go High Level, which is, I mean, that's also another necessary tool. It's like the only thing that you have to spend money on when you get into SMMA. And then the new strategy is referral systems, retention systems, and review systems, which I'll get into that later. Those are the last 3 slides before we actually do the offer rundown. And the last thing is innovation, which is becoming the best, keeping clients, and spending less. And then we have these nice logos under each one of them. And then if we actually start getting into it, we have our first page here, which just shows kind of like an ad copy that did good for us previously. If you check out this ad copy here, it's saying, okay, our 7 treatment package, we could guarantee desired results, get 50% off your whole package today. So this is the offer that we agreed on with this client. This was actually, I think it was my second client. This is obviously a med spa example. You will switch this out for, you know, if you're doing car detailing or whatever it is for that niche. I don't have images here because obviously that's very niche specific, but over here we have, for your advertisement, we'll use different creatives and see which one works best in your local area. And we leverage scarcity to create urgency for customers to book an appointment with you by creating limited time offers, LTOs. So it just sounds good, stuff that sounds good. And perhaps they know some of what we're talking about, but a lot of this is really just our forte, and they just have to kind of be briefed on what we do. And then we will update and adapt the advertisements every week based on the results that we get. So this page is good, just shows them an example of what you do creatively. So the overview, this is the page that I kind of asked them, like, do you understand what I just showed you? Because this is kind of a lot to digest. I usually walk through it like this. I say that, okay, we put out the advertisements on Facebook. People then click on the ad, they click on get offer, they then get that lead capture form, which is gonna ask them for their email, their full name, and then their phone number. We then connect that into our Go High Level CRM system, which sometimes I go out of the tab and I show them what we do and how the inner workings of that. And if you guys want me to show you how that works on our end, I could also go in and show that to you guys in a different video. But yeah, then we show them how that lead turns into a booked appointment, and then we remind them to show up, and then we put a little $sign on top of this last one, just because, just to illustrate that that's when we actually end up getting paid. We don't get paid any time before. This thing up here is meant to symbolize a prepaid deposit. So in between the lead capture and the booked appointment, we used to take in a $30 deposit, so that they would be more inclined to show up for the actual appointment that they schedule, right? And so that's an important thing when you're working with high tickets. Next thing is follow-up. So in the follow-ups, we use our CRM software. Again, this is Go High Level. On the right, we just have this little image of some of the messages that we end up sending after we see that a lead has propagated in the system. So this page isn't too complicated. It just basically shows them what the follow-up process looks like, the message, and basically how we respond every time a lead propagates in our CRM software within Go High Level. And then the appointment setting part, since we collect a deposit, over here on the right, you can see it says insert card number, and that's how you could schedule the meeting. How it works is after this last part where we follow up and we say, okay, all we have to do is hop on a quick call. On that call, we put them through this process. So we call all of our leads with an appointment setter. The initial survey is just asking them simple questions that pre-qualify them. Since it's such a high ticket service, and a lot of the time with med spas, you actually kind of have to ask health questions. You ask them if they had any previous health issues and stuff like that. From there, they come in, really simple, book their appointment through the High Level calendar, and then they just put in their name, email, phone, everything, and then they put in their card number. And again, we're over call this entire time because people are lazy and they don't want to pay for things on their own, and they don't want to do things on their own. So you kind of need to walk them through the process and how to do it. It's really simple. It's just like a 3-step thing. But yeah, this is where they put in the card number. Then after that, they just click on schedule meeting. And then as you can see, the text says that we lock in a non-refundable $30 deposit. This just explains what we do and why we do it. And then another follow-up page. This is the reminders that come in after a person schedules their appointment through Go High Level, through SMS. We just send them these messages to make sure that they actually end up showing up and not just book. Just to make this as clear as possible, I don't want to confuse you guys. All of this is just showing them how we do what we do. We show them this overview, right? And then within each of these pages, we show them how each of these sections work. So the ad, we show them up here, right? And then below this, we show them how we follow up. And then below this, we show them how they actually set the appointment. And then below this, we show them how we remind the lead that they have an appointment. And then under that, we get into the strategies that were mentioned earlier. So there's going to be 3 strategies here that you guys can choose to either use or not use for your presentation. We use them, but not every time do we actually end up executing them. Like, some of them are easier to do than others. The referral strategy is one of the more difficult things to do, but it can be very lucrative. And this means that you're basically connecting similar niches together in some sense. So if you work with a med spa, it'd be easy to connect them to a nail salon and then end up getting nail salon clients to come to the med spa and vice versa, so that you could kind of fuel each other's businesses. Next thing is the retention strategy. Now, this is not a specific strategy as much as saying that, for our case, again, if this isn't the case for you, it's different, but we just said that we bring you these customers, but we do not ask for any commission that's recurring. If you do ask for a commission, then obviously you could change this out, but since we're just asking for a fixed fee at the end of the month, it's cool to emphasize that these are clients that could stay for years to come, and this is a cool page to put on there. And then the next thing was the Google review strategy. Now this is something that all of you guys should do, and this is something that's so easy to do through Go High Level. Literally, it just takes the click of a button. If you want me to make a video on how to actually do this, I can. You could run an entire business by just doing Google reviews. You could delete every other slide in this presentation, just have this one, and end up selling a service for like a few $100s to multiple different businesses, smaller businesses, that help them acquire more Google reviews. It's just simple. You just need to pay for Go High Level, which is just a great return on investment. And then obviously what I put here is just kind of an example of a message that we send out, and how we incentivize people to put in their Google reviews. We reach out giving away discounts, and all they have to do is write a Google review. So what that ends up doing is they get a discount, so they come in again, and then they also add a Google review. So it's just two birds with one stone. Database reactivation is another strategy that we have. Now this is also very simple through Go High Level, which is just you have a database. You don't even need Go High Level for this one. You just have a database, and you have all these list of all these names, and you're just messaging each one of them individually. With Go High Level, you'd be able to send out a blast automation, but a lot of med spas have thousands of clients in their database, especially ones that have been up for like 10 plus years. And so we just send out a blast message because these owners are so not tech savvy insofar that they don't even know how to send messages to their client databases, or they just don't even have the time to or the mental bandwidth to even think about it. So it's a simple thing that just blows up their business all of a sudden, especially around discounts and like holiday stuff, holiday specials. And it's extremely simple, especially again if you have Go High Level. So we have this page as well. These are all add-ons, extra things that just kind of confirm that it'd be delusional to not work with you. You don't need to use all these things, but I think that it'd be of some value to include things that are more accessible for you. Like the Google reviews, I think that's really important. I think everyone should do the Google review strategy at the very least. So next I have this page that's purely a psychological tactic, I guess you could say, and it's putting a list of reasons why you should and shouldn't work with us. And so I'm not going to read all this. You could kind of pause it and read through it, but this works really well because it just kind of pits up two options. It puts a fork in the road for them, and it's like, okay, well, one way is just obviously dumb and one way is obviously smart, and that would grow your business. And even if they react to it in a way that's like, oh, okay, I know what you're doing, it's a subconscious thing. This actually does work, and it certainly has an effect on their final decision. Next thing is why you should work with us. Now this is another page that I think I deleted it at one point and it worked the same way, but if you want to add in that last bit of persuasion that really induces them to work with you, I pulled this great message out of $100 Million Offers, which is the Alex Hormozi book. But I basically say, best case, we get you more appointments set and the money starts flowing in. Worst case, you tell me I suck, you don't pay me, and you still get a team of social media marketers working 7 hours a day for you. Both options are risk-free for both of our safety, but the only thing guaranteed, in all bold letters, to not help you is walking out of here today with nothing. This is, I think, the best thing you could possibly do in terms of like psychological strategy, is doing a value stack. And this is a really cool thing that just basically shows you the value of each of these things. So essentially, okay, let's isolate each of the facets of our system, of our strategy, of our offer, and let's show them how much each of them are worth technically. Like, how much are these things going to make them, and how much are we going to charge them? We're showing them that the value is $11,000 plus, and we're only charging them as little as, whatever you're charging them. So obviously I had my rate was $1,497, so $1,500. And so when we show them this, and then we show them we're only going to charge $1,500 after, again, we deliver on our guarantee, it was a no-brainer. And then again, back to the offer, we just have, in big bold letters, the offer, and then what we actually charge them as our fixed fee. Under that is a 90-day agreement. That's our retainer. Whatever your retainer is, you guys could choose for yourselves. And then we have excluding ad spend, which then we explain to them how ad spend works. Most people do know how that works, but if they don't, then you could explain that to them in more detail. And then we also explain to them a startup fee, which for my most recent clients, I actually did charge startup fees, but in the beginning I didn't charge a startup fee. That just depends on what you want to do. If you need to save up money to like upgrade and go high level or something, that it is worth charging a startup fee. And then, we just have the guarantee basically reiterated down there, and then down here is just the next steps. This used to be more confusing for me. I kind of made it more thin and simple. We're going to email and text you the contract through DocuSign, ensuring the guarantee. We use DocuSign. In case you don't, you could search it up online. It gives you 3 free contracts to sign for your first 3 clients. And then we just email and text you the onboarding drive, which if you guys want me to go through the entire onboarding folder that I've built out, I could also do that in another video. And essentially with that, we just get all their information, get the contract signed, get them to fill out a survey and stuff like that, so that we have all of what we need to begin setting up ads and running everything. It's kind of the most annoying part of the process in the beginning, but once you do it a lot of times, you just kind of refine it and get good at it. So anyways, the next thing is just conducting the final onboarding call, which that is just for going over the rundown of the strategy essentially, and for whatever that is for you guys. If you want me to do a video on the onboarding call, then I could also do that. And then yeah, we just insert the phone and the email, and then under that you could insert your logo for your agency to end off the entire slideshow. So I know this was kind of long, but it was meant to be, because I know that this is a process that's really important, and I didn't want to kind of like make it too brief with the risk of missing some important stuff. So I didn't really try and shorten it or truncate it. I just decided to talk and talk without stopping. I do have one last thing to show you guys. I have a few tips for when you present, and this is obviously dependent on what you're good at. And if you happen to be really good at improvising, then perhaps you just improvise the entire presentation. And if you happen to be really bad at improvising, then perhaps you should do some more reading off of it and stuff like that. But these are just some general tips, rules of thumb that I learned from my process. So just don't read off the screen. Always try and paraphrase. It works because when you're reading off of the screen, you could tell it's really obvious, and so you're unprepared. And if you want to get good at it, then just practice your presentation with friends and family. And the other thing is sound natural, so don't try and be over professional, especially when you're actually not and you're just starting out. So just sound as natural as you can. Also, let them do most of the talking. That always works. Whenever they do most of the talking and you're listening, not only does you listening make you seem way smarter than you are, but it also makes them realize that at the end, it's only worthwhile if they end up working with you, because otherwise they just talk to this person for no reason, and then it becomes far more, and then the client becomes far more inclined to work with you. And then you want to re-engage them by asking questions throughout. So I just explained in the beginning of this video that when you're presenting, your name and stuff and your location, you want to say, where do you live in this area or whatever, or where do you, and just random stuff that brings you out of the presentation into everyday life conversation, then back in. That's establishing the kind of the relationship. And then reiterate your amazing offer. So your offer needs to be the selling point. Obviously it always is. So just continue to reiterate it. Whenever you see them kind of being skeptical, tell them your offer again, and that always works, because then it just kind of pulls them back in. And then show them that you specialize in local advertising. So that's another thing. Like I said before, if you live in Houston and you're advertising for med spas in Houston, you should tell them that is that's what you specialize in, and that's what you're focusing on. They will love you being authentic in that sense, and you being local. And then towards the end, treat it as if they have already decided to work with you. Now, this is a really cool tip, and if you start doing this, I guarantee you more people will just kind of move on, go with the flow. At the end, you should act as if they're willing to work with you, even if they haven't uttered a word for the entire time, which again, that would be, you'd be transgressing this rule, which is let them do most of the talking. But if they don't do any talking and they're just watching, and you're getting towards the end of the presentation, treat it as if they're just moving forward with it. And then send them the contract/onboarding folder on the call while giving them direct and actionable next steps. It's always good to get them to sign on the call, but sometimes they want to look it over, and that's completely understandable, and you could even do that with them on call. But if they want to do it on their own, they want to take time to it, still send them everything and tell them exactly how to do what they do. Again, if you want me to describe more of how that onboarding process works for us, then I could do that as well. The last thing is, only if this applies to you, work on your English, work on your ability to articulate, because that is all you have in sales, really. So yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. This is the presentation. If you want to actually claim this thing, you could join the Discord down below. I'm revitalizing that Discord. It's been kind of dead for the last 4 months just because I haven't been around. I've been making that movie that I was talking about earlier. So I'm back and I'm here to stay. Go ahead and check that out. It'll be linked in the description and the pinned comment. Also, if you want to get to Go High Level, you could go ahead and join that. If you get Go High Level using my affiliate link, we could do one-on-one calls and I could help you set up your entire process. Just send me that you use my link, and it's a 14-day free trial. I'll help you with everything, and we'll set up your agency. And if you want just help in general, message me privately on Discord by joining, or if you want, you could just comment below. Other than that, it's been good. I hope this was valuable. I hope that you took some use out of this. I mean, this is a lot of stuff. I will be giving away a lot more tools in this because I'm not really gatekeeping anything. I don't feel the need to hide what I do. If you want to follow my journey with my photography and videography agency that I'm now running, you could go ahead and subscribe, leave a like, and Stay tuned for the onslaught of content that's going to come out soon. I have a lot planned and it's exciting to be back. Yep, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone, and goodbye.